I didn't bring my pom-poms.
Oh, my pom-poms.
Yay!
Now, hi, everyone. So we're going to get started in just a second. But I'm trying to see if I can get this to go on Instagram. And you know what? It's not happening right now. So we're just going to do without
It's not playing
Instagram.
nice. It's not
playing nice. All right. So hello. I'm so
Hello.
happy that you're here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So before we jump into this, like, every time that I talk about the metaverse with you, I feel like I'm a part of history. Like
You
that we are
are.
making history. And I think it's so cool. So welcome everyone. And please, if you are watching this on the replay, we want you to also interact. We're not going to forget about you. But first, I want to do a quick little intro to my friend here, who is also known as the nerdy girl entrepreneur,
Yes.
Wanda. So Wanda is a visionary. She's an inventor of several first in market solutions and veteran entrepreneur of almost 20 years. I'm like aging us because so am I.
It. Yeah.
Wanda is dedicated to helping the growth of ambitious business owners through curated connection. And she does this by featuring experts who are rocket fuel, like all of you that are part of my connections and my audience. So I'm so excited for you guys to be a part of this. And on the Rocket Fuel podcast and in the she has recently launched the Rock-It Fuel Metaverse, which we are going to give you a sneak peek into what that looks like. It's a one-of-a-kind education and social experience designed just for you entrepreneurs. So welcome, lady.
Yay, thank you.
Yeah.
So exciting. Oh,
I'm so excited for this conversation because you recently did the grand opening for the metaverse, the Rock-It Fuel Metaverse, and it was such a cool experience, so different. And so I know you and I in conversation are like, okay, I think that I know people that could really, really benefit from hosting their live events inside of the metaverse. I definitely want to host my live events inside of the metaverse. I can't wait for that to happen. So
yes.
Why not just share it to everyone? And
yeah. I'd love to kind of rewind and kind of explain to people why this is so important too, if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's start with that. Yeah.
I started this journey probably a little over 6 months ago. Well, actually now probably like 8 months ago. And so when I started Rocket Fuel as a brand and I started it as a podcast, my goal was really to encourage people to tap into experts that are rocket fuel so that they could accelerate whatever goals that they have, whether it's in business or in life. And as an entrepreneur, a longtime entrepreneur, a veteran entrepreneur,
like,
I
get
know.
my cane out.
As I heard that, I was like, do I get a 10% discount on something? You know,
I know.
but in that experience, I realized that it had taken me way too long to get a coach. Like my very first coach, it took me 10 years to get. And part of it, there are a lot of reasons. Like I have a doctorate degree and then I came from corporate. And then there's all this like, yeah, you can do it, Wanda. You could figure it out, whether it's externally or internally. And I'm sure you guys all kind of know the feeling. And you're like, oh, you get it's stuck in this do-it-yourself mindset, right? Where it's like, okay, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. And then also you're always trying to save money. So you're like, oh, I'm going to save money by figuring it out. And no, you don't, by the way. It takes a long time to figure out, like, no, if you hired somebody to help you, it would be like, zoom, right? But it's hard. We're in this wacky stage. So it started with me just saying, you know what? I want to host a podcast sharing all these wonderful people that I've grown to meet and learn about in my journey so that other people don't have to take so long to find like their experts that are going to be rocket fuel for them. And then I'm just like, holy cannoli, as I'm meeting more and more people and interviewing them, I'm like, I need to create an event or something. This is amazing. And I don't know if you guys feel this. You may not have like overtly said it, but this is what I was feeling. I felt frustrated when I wanted to make a decision to hire social media expert, to hire a YouTube expert, to hire a marketing expert or finance help or anything. And I felt like I didn't have a resource to go to find those people. Like
Mhm.
basically it was whoever popped up on an ad or a webinar or whatever, and then in that moment of desperation, I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna buy." And I didn't feel like an educated buyer. Do you know what I'm talking about, Gina?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
You know, and and
It's
and
it's kind of like, window shopping and you see something and then you're like, "Okay, I'm gonna go get it," but then
yeah,
you have
yeah,
regrets after you buy it.
yeah, and it's kind
Yeah,
of
you're not
interesting
really
because also the way we learn to market as entrepreneurs, this is kind of going down another little path here, but it's all part of the foundation because the way we learn to market is to kind of create this excitement and grab somebody like at this moment and make them decide right at that moment. And so we're all stuck, and I say entrepreneurs because we're stuck in this funky marketing world and also this funky way of making decisions for our business because corporations don't do it this way.
right, right.
All right. So it's literally like small biz DIY mindset, like go with your gut, just make a decision sort of thing and stuff. And I don't know. So I figured that by featuring as many experts as possible, it empowers entrepreneurs to, first of all, know the types of decisions that they need to make, the types of experts they should be working with, and then be informed and say, yes, that person resonates with me, right?
Right.
So I'm glad to see. I see a comment. I've definitely done that before, the buyer's remorse and such. And so as we're selling, like our duty is to share as much of ourselves of who we are and connect more deeply so people don't have that remorse when they're buying with us, right? They feel like they
Mhm.
understand what our expertise is and they also get a flavor as to who we are as a person, as an agency, what that experience is. And so, like, fast forward through all that process, and by researching, doing a live event, holy cannoli, the expense
Yeah.
of doing a live event. I mean, kudos to you guys that have invested in it and have been like biting your nails, being like, oh, I hope people show up so that this has a return, right? Now, there's value in in-person events because of that proximity, right? To be able to not only learn from you, but to be able to socialize with you and with others. There's an energy that's created and a comfort level that's creative. And that's why in person events close more.
Yes, and they're because they're so much more personable,
Yeah.
and you build that relationship.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
now we have Zoom events, or I mean, not criticizing Zoom itself, but we have our traditional, I'll say, our traditional virtual events that we're familiar with, such as using a service like Zoom. and and sure, we present, but we lose the opportunity to interact with each other, which, by the way, like when you have people that are confident, experience are resonating with you, with your product, and they're interacting with other people that may be on the fence, they bring them along
Mhm.
too. Right?
Yeah.
They help increase their confidence because now I meet somebody else in the audience and I'm like, "Oh, you're like me. We have similar experience, da 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 da." And, "Oh, you're saying yes? Okay, so I feel more comfortable saying yes." And then add on having, I'll use you as an example, having a Gina mingling around and Gina's team mingling around so that now I know, oh my gosh, like I don't know Tina as just Gina as just the expert, as just the expert, but as a person. And I really resonate and I feel really comfortable. Boop, boop, boop. That increases the know, like, and trust factor. And we all know that increases somebody's comfort in buying. So
Right.
I look at this Rock-It Fuel Metaverse in-person event and I'm like sweating bullets because honestly, I've never run a full event, an in-person event on my budget. I ran
Right.
a lot of in-person events on other people's budgets and on the corporate level as well. So I was very familiar with it, very comfortable with the process, but I was sweating with like,
It's different when it's on your budget.
yeah, like,
Totally.
will people come?
Yeah.
Will I get a return? Right. So then actually what I don't think I had told you this, Gina, but like over 10 years ago, I actually
Mhm.
created my very first metaverse like event for the pharmaceutical industry. Yeah,
No. Okay.
so this is why I was kind of aware of what was going on, and I was like, "I think this might be the time," but it was a very flat sort of interaction, but it was the concept of creating, an environment versus just a
Mhm.
flat presentation. So it was like a fancy version of Zoom or what we're doing now. It made you feel like you were in an audience and stuff like that.
You were a trend setter.
Yes, this is
That's what I call a
yes,
trendsetter.
this is my talent and my curse because very often in my career, I often created first in market solutions and it was way too early. And I have
Right.
stories around that too. So, but that is what I've come to realize like that's what I do as a visionary. It's hard to kind of say like,
Mhm.
"Hey, I'm a visionary," and like to actually even put that in a bio, but that's just what I do. I tend to just
Yeah.
think of things before they even happen. Uh,
And but then you actually make them happen. That's
yes.
the difference.
Yeah.
That's right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so I was like, "All right, I'm sweating a little bit about this in-person event thing." And
Mhm.
so, um, so I'm like, let me go back and kind of research what's going on in the metaverse. Like, what's happening here? I
Mhm.
know, like, I mean, Zuckerberg is like interested enough that he changed his company to be called Meta, and he's like all into this potential. Let's see how far it's actually gone. Okay, and
Yeah.
so it's come pretty far. It's now you.
So let's start really quick, and
Yeah,
not to interrupt you,
yeah.
but because I know we keep throwing the word metaverse out, but
Ooh.
give like a quick description or explanation of what is the metaverse.
Yeah,
And we're actually going to show you
we
guys
are.
what it is.
Stay tuned.
So you got to stay tuned. But yeah, tell
Yeah,
us a little bit about what exactly
yeah,
it
it
is.
is important because a metaverse is literally a virtual environment. That's that's all it is. It's a virtual environment that is supposed to be a a representative of the real world. And why it's important for you to think of it as an environment is because it's literally it's 3D even from a technology perspective. Like when you're
Mhm.
in the metaverse, like you as a person, when you're in a metaverse environment, you literally have like a longitude, latitude, like you have a space, right? And you move around a space. When you're interacting with somebody, you have to look at them. If you turn, you're literally turning away from them. So it's not a flat experience, it's a three-dimensional experience, but it's a virtual world, a virtual environment, period. That's the easiest way. Now, that virtual world, because it's digital, it can look and feel like anything you want. So of course the introduction to the metaverse and like long time ago when companies like Second Life and such came about and you could have an avatar in the metaverse. I mean, this is like a decade or more ago, right? It was
Mhm.
more in the gaming world. So if you think about a game, if you're a gamer, if your children, are gamers, and you think like, "Oh my goodness, the progress of the visuals," right? You could create whatever you want, right? So it can be a reflection of a real life experience, or you could be on Mars or a made up, planet or whatever.
Right.
Like sky's the limit. It's actually creativity is the limit, right? So that's
Yeah.
super exciting. So what Zuckerberg is trying to do is he's already kind of figuring out um how is it that we can truly have as much of a 3D experience as possible? And this is why when a lot of people talk about the metaverse, they talk about using like the virtual reality glasses, right? The Oculus or whatever, right? And it's
Mhm.
because gaming has come so far that they're already these kids are already technically playing in a metaverse, right? Even those
Right.
interactive games where they're actually meeting their friends in this environment, in this gaming environment, that's literally a metaverse. Right?
Right.
Because it's not like, "Hey, I'm gonna chat with you now." It's like, "Oh, I need to meet you on this mountain, and I have to go somewhere," because it's actually a 3D environment. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Right?
Yep.
So it's different in that sense, but once you recognize that it's a replica of an environment, then things
Mhm.
start clicking as you even kind of walk into that. Now, when I was researching companies, that were delivering, experiences in the metaverse, most of them had a gaming background, okay?
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
most of them
Okay.
came from gaming, and then they were like, "Hey, kids have been using this forevs, forever."
Right.
Now, like, grown-ups realize, "Oh, maybe I can create a professional environment where I can actually utilize these same things." I mean, when we may get frustrated that our children are, like, sitting there gaming, but they're actually socializing just in the metaverse. It's
Right.
just different, and they're able to socialize with people from all over the US, all
All
over the
over.
globe. Right? So if we look at it that way and appreciate it that way, that's where these companies where it's like, "Oh, we've been doing it, so let's bring it on over to the business world." So I met with 7 companies total, and there are definitely more than 7 companies, but I had to kind of whittle it down. I obviously
Mhm.
wanted to meet with companies that have already been, thinking about creating these more business-like environments, and many of them
Mhm.
worked with large corporations, right? Because the big guys are the ones that could afford to play in this playground. But when it was gaming, this was my experience, and it'll probably change even but based on my comments here, if one of them listens. But in the gaming environment, most of our kids are interacting socially either by chatting, texting, or just voice.
Mhm.
Like they literally have a headset and they're like, "Dude, come on, follow me. We're gonna take the mountain,"
Yes.
right?
I hear it all the time through my son's Oculus.
Yes, right? But they're not interacting with each other face to face, right?
Right.
And so there are many reasons to that. It takes a lot of bandwidth to do that, by the way,
Mhm.
right? So it takes a very strong system to do that. So if you have bazillions of kids doing that, and now they're doing video, um, which if I don't know gaming very well, so if there are games that are using it, then it's probably a much more expensive game, and there's a lot. It's much more robust to do that, right?
Yeah. I think there is, but yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's still
So
they're not
they're not there.
free.
Yeah, they're not free. And it's not that actually, I'm gonna correct myself. It's not that they're not there yet. It's just that it's a very robust experience. It requires your computer to, I mean, gaming computers
Mhm.
have to have a lot of processing power. Think of all of that. Okay. So
Yeah.
so that was the gaming side of things, and what I didn't like about those environments in general, I struggled with the fact that in general they still had a very digital sort of vibe to them, but the biggest
Mhm.
thing was that they were limited to interacting with each other via voice or chat because
Mhm.
they came from gaming. Makes sense, right? And
Right.
then I met a company that actually came from this is very interesting, came from the interior design space.
Oh, that's right.
Okay? That's where you're like, "What?" Right? So they actually think about a very high-end event design or interior design company, right? That where you're literally spending their clients are spending millions of dollars to design an event or to redesign their house, right? So
Mhm.
these companies are actually available out there that will scan a venue like the main gala hall at the Ritz-Carlton, right? And they'll scan it digitally so that the
So
designer
cool.
can design the event digitally and get the financial approval to make it happen in real life,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And so when I saw this environment, I was like, "Whoa, Nelly, now we're talking," right? Because their environments were literally taken from real environments, and then they modified them, right? But they were based off of that experience, right? Now, what they also did was they had the avatars with screens as heads. So they weren't as fancy, right? They didn't look like humans, and I couldn't become like a mermaid with a lion head or all these crazy things like in the gaming world. But it was very practical for business because what I want to do is I want to see you. I still want the value of Zoom and this chat experience. And so that was the platform and the design company or the development company that I wound up working with. And then from there, I was able to create my own club, I call it, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, we're creating an environment for entrepreneurs, for ambitious entrepreneurs that want to tap into the rocket fuel of experts so that they can accelerate their goals. I love rock and roll. So Rocket Fuel, ROCK-IT came from like rocket, rock and roll. So I wanted to be like a different environment. I wanted to have an edgy look, almost kind of like a bar or a club, but not like too off because of course I
Yeah.
want to create that bridge for you guys, right? Like we can go crazy. And believe me, the Rock-It Fuel Metaverse is going to have some really funky areas, right? And creative areas. But the first step was just to give you something that was familiar, which is a conference hall, right? Oh, I want to go to a
Mhm.
main stage. I want an exhibit area. I want to be able to have conversation, right? And so that is, sorry, the probably longer than intended story,
No, this is so
but this
good.
is
Yeah, no,
the behind
they
the
need
scenes of like how
yeah,
we get here.
yeah.
And also why it's so exciting for me to deliver it to you guys, okay? Because you shouldn't my goal was to create an environment so that experts can come in and be brilliant and host their like rocket fuel events, right? And you don't have
Mhm.
to worry about the technology, right? I'm the geek. I love it. Like, but I created the building for you,
Right.
right? And I created the house where people will feel comfortable. Ambitious entrepreneurs will feel comfortable coming in 24/7. Like we literally see folks coming in like at all hours of the night, and I'll be like, "Wait, there are 3 people there in a conversation, or they're having a team meeting, and that's fine because it's open." It's like, "Come
Yeah.
on in to the building," but here we're gonna be hosting, like, the best of the best people that are impact driven. This is kinda my parameters to it, right? Because in any environment, any metaverse environment could be whatever it is, but what I'm doing is I'm
Mhm.
creating a branding environment so that every person that hosts knows that the other people that have attended somebody else's event are also their people.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
whoever
Yep.
walks in through that door is an ambitious entrepreneur who has a learner's mindset, who is looking to connect with experts that are rocket fuel, right? So no
Exactly.
matter what. So now I've created this space where the traffic is your is full of your people, and then you bring your people and everybody's just kind of amplifying each other as a result of it. Sorry, I get so excited.
So no, it's so good, and I can't wait. I can't wait to show everyone what it's like inside. But really, it's like, let's say that you are hosting an in-person conference or you're a speaker at a conference, another way to and you're walking into the hotel where the conference is at. There's different rooms for different breakout sessions, and then there's like the main conference room with the main stage. I mean, that is really the feel
Yeah.
that you feel, except virtually, but you can still see people's real faces
Yeah.
and and interact with them on a real human level.
Yes,
So
without
it is
without
it's
needing goggles, you don't need the goggles or
yes,
whatever.
without
All that
goggles. You
you
don't need all
what
of
you
that.
do need is you need a laptop or a PC and you need good internet. Because what I have noticed I've had people kind of be like, "Oh, I'm having issues," or whatever, and maybe they're using their phone as a hotspot and it's not
Mhm.
strong enough. Sometimes our phone is great internet and sometimes it's not. Just like it's great telephone and it's not, right? So
Mhm.
so you need that because remember we were talking about the robustness of the metaverse and how people typically would, for gaming, people typically need like high powered computers. Now, because all of this is hosted online, most of the processing power is actually happening off of your computer. Okay. You're not downloading anything at all, unlike a game, right? You're not downloading anything. It's all on the internet, but you do need good enough internet so that when you're doing a video call, you have you have good video, and so that
Yeah.
you could download the details, right? The resolution of like the walls, the texture of the walls and the floor and all of that stuff. So that's kind of the, I don't know if anybody has a question. Um
Any question? I do see there's a couple questions, but
Yeah, they were
let's
kind of
see.
about voice messaging versus text. What I will say
Yeah.
is that in general, voice or video messaging in general is more effective, right? Because it enables somebody to get to know, like, and trust you more. It's more personal.
Mhm.
They get a feel for your voice, your tone, etc., and then obviously your face. And this is why it was so important in the metaverse if we were going to create a social environment for people to socialize beyond just text. And I'll even, this is just kind of coming to me as a comment. Think about social and how some people say things via text that they would never say with their voice or in video, right?
Yes, and vice versa. People also mistake the context of
Of
something that
something.
you say via text.
And
So I send tons of voice messages. You've gotten my voice
yes.
messages even through Messenger, through Instagram. I just that's just how I
And
am, and
especially
I
when
know
you're in a
this because
rush, sometimes it sounds like a really
yeah.
like tough message when you really
Yeah,
intended.
like really cold and like,
Yeah.
hard, and that's not really what you intend.
Yeah.
So, absolutely. Even in Slack, my team knows like I'm
Yeah.
I'm
So I
messaging.
hope that
Now
that's
the
helpful
bad
there.
thing with it is that you don't have like a whole transcription, but whatever. Like it's all about being human and
Exactly,
connecting
exactly. And as things get
in
more and more
community.
digital, right? So, the, what Zuckerberg is trying to accomplish with his version of Meta is to bring more humanity into it. That's why he's working so hard on trying to represent you, like your face and like your expression
Mhm.
and everything on a digital level. Like that's how visionary he is. He knows ultimately we will get there, right?
Mhm.
Because it's different if you have an Oculus on, and if you've ever actually experienced virtual reality, when you feel like something is right there, it's one thing to talk to Gina like this is awesome. But if
Yeah.
Gina was there in 3D, it's even more intimate. It's even a greater connection, right? So
Right.
that's what he's trying to achieve. But we can get pretty damn close from an effectiveness perspective in business, and we don't have to wait for that. And also an Oculus is pretty damn expensive, and so right now
Mhm.
most people don't have the budget, don't have the interest in getting that. And so it was really important for me to optimize all of those features of the metaverse, but make it as approachable as possible so that that virtual event that you're rocking already and has awesome conversion rates, bring it to the metaverse and watch it like right take off,
Right.
because now we would structure it a little bit different, but you would give people the opportunity to do breakouts that are not like flat, but like breakouts that are definitely deeper. They fall in a different way, but also have your team potentially lead a breakout and then have people socialize with each other and bring those early adopters or those people that are already at a yes and bring those maybes, into them. Like they could be your salespeople, even if you don't have enough salespeople, right? Add
Right.
add your own salespeople, and then you have a whole bunch of people mingling in the hall, right? And
Mhm.
helping people make the decision as to whether it's the right thing for them, right? If you have just a flat virtual experience, you lose people as soon as you end that session.
Yep.
We all know that's why we do so much follow-up email, right?
Mhm.
After an event.
Yeah.
because it's like if they didn't say yes at that moment, then we have the fast action, bonuses and
Bonuses.
all that stuff. And then it's like, "Boop," and then you have
Mhm.
like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss out," and you spend a lot of effort, doing that. So if you have a
Right.
virtual event, bringing it to the metaverse just boosts the conversions and the closing rates. But if you had a live event, you may not do them as frequently, even though they're high
Right.
impact, high closing events. You may not do them because of the expense. But imagine bringing one of your successful live events and making it available more frequently to
Mhm.
to folks on a global level by bringing it to the metaverse,
Right.
right? So that's kind of when I think about you know, having the initial strategy session with a client, we'll talk about, okay, well, what are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to revive? Like maybe you have a really successful virtual event that your list is kind of like sick and tired of hearing about, right? So it's kind of a way of
Right.
zhuzhing it up, right? And reviving
Mhm.
an existing event. Um, or you're like, damn, I already have successful monthly launches or monthly webinars or workshops. I just want to boost the conversion rate,
Boost it.
right?
Yeah.
So then you do that. Or it could be a brand new experience, or it could be, so that's one, two, three, or it could be literally taking a live event and creating a virtual experience from that. So four different scenarios, I would say.
So many options.
Yes.
So many options.
And I'm excited.
All
I'm
right.
excited to host you.
I know. Okay,
Shall we
so
give that sneak
are we
peek?
ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so here
Are
we
you
go,
guys
guys.
ready?
We're gonna Yeah, are you guys ready?
Yeah, ready,
Come on.
ready, ready.
Let's get some fire emojis going. Come
I
on,
hope so
guys.
because this is rocket fuel. I'm very, very excited. I'm excited for you to attend a metaverse event because you will get more out of the experience, but even
Yeah.
more excited about hosting because that's kind of what we're here for. Like I want to feature all of you wonderful people and I feel like this is an even better way of doing that. So, with that being said, I'm ready when you are to share.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna share my screen.
Yay! Alrighty. So here we are when you join the metaverse initially. This is the only time that you actually see yourself as an avatar. But this was really important for me to show before I click join because it shows you that like we went with a really just super simple cute robot, little bot guy or gal, right? And for special events, by the way, we do have the opportunity to put a little tuxedo or a sparkly dress on that avatar. It's a cute little feature, but I haven't activated it yet because I want to wait for like a gala or something. um, but
I want the
yeah,
dress. I want the
the
sparkly dress,
sparkly dress.
please.
Yes, it's super cool. But what's important here is from a functional perspective, what's most important as we're walking around, we want people to identify us, right? So as you're walking around, you have this screen that's big enough to show like a great picture of yourself. And you could do this is an example of what we do, maybe a little bit more about yourself. It should be big font. And so we have some tips there, right? This screen is what turns into your video when you're actually having a one-on-one conversation with somebody. Okay. So that's really, really cool. There to be able to have that amount of space. And of course, when you're speaking to somebody, you actually have the opportunity to kind of make it bigger screen too. So if you want it to fill up the screen, you can. Okay. Now, of course, you could put your name, your company name, etc. And then on the body of the bot is something that's always showing. It never changes, right? Obviously, when this gets converted to video, then while you're in a conversation, people might not be able to see it, but they'll always be able to see what's on the body, right? So in some cases, you could put your logo, so they always know, right? In this case, I have a catchword, a call to action So I have that. So if people text Wanda T to 1-909-741-1321, then they'll get like my e-business card and a quick summary of what I'm about. And that's more of just like a connection point, because we all know that we forget like all the wonderful people that we meet. And it's better than a card, because now that person, like if you text Wanda T, I have your email address and now I know to reach out to you and it's there, right? I don't have to like worry about getting a physical card and scanning them and all that stuff, right? Um, so I actually recommend these catchwords for even for in-person interactions, but in this case, we're using that on the body, okay? But it could be whatever you want. I don't recommend a QR code. You can try, but what I find is that QR codes are harder to scan from a digital perspective. It's if it's not big enough, it could be a problem. If the resolution is not good because somebody's internet is a little it could be a problem, right? So QR codes don't work as well as a texting call to action in general. Okay. Blue tuxedo, I see somebody say. Yes, right. So that's what your avatar looks like. Now as I hit join, I can't see my avatar anymore, but I will be able to see other people's avatars. Okay. As you can see behind me, we did not, oh, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. I actually
Oh, yeah, is it moving? I'm like, "Is it moving?" Oh, there we go.
I was clicking on our streaming view. So I'm like, it's not doing anything. Okay. So here we didn't update it, but just on Friday we had a special event. We had Molly Mahoney here.
Amazing,
Yes.
love her,
Awesome session.
one of my mentors.
Yes, and she's fantastic. And what we did was a live podcast interview. So that was a Rock-It Fuel podcast interview that we did. We streamed it live into the metaverse so people could enjoy it together. And then we opened it up into a cyber social where Molly, after the interview, popped on in to the metaverse and she got to chat and answer people's questions and talk AI or actually talk anything. There were some folks that were just asking about strategy in general, right? But this is the main stage. So when you think of the main stage, this is in general where we would have the live presentations, okay? If folks want to join the main stage, they approach the main stage and then there's a little join icon and then you say, yes, you want to join. I'm going to say not now because there's nothing going on in the main stage here. When you host an event in the metaverse, if it's your hosted event, she was our guest, so we just changed this image here. But if it's your event, this changes. You get to change the banners on the side, and we'll wait over here to see if you see something special flying in the air. But you also get to change the conversation areas, the images to the conversation areas. You could call them breakout sessions or whatever. You could have different names for them based on whether you're doing a breakout. So let's say you have a 1-hour presentation here on the main stage, then you break out into 3 different breakout sessions, and there's the airplane that goes by, and that gets customized for you as well. So you can have a custom banner.
That is so cool.
Yes, it's
That
so
is
fun.
so cool.
And so you can imagine, as people are sitting here, they're like, oh my gosh, they're like surrounded by your branding. Think of Rock-It Fuel Metaverse as like the Prudential Center or whatever, right? That's the name of the venue, but the venue will get customized for you and branded for you there, right? So then let's say you have an hour of breakout sessions so people can meet you, your team. Let's say you give them a worksheet or an activity that kind of progresses them along the messaging continuum that you have. And when you host an event in the Rock-It Fuel Metaverse, we also have a strategy session so that we can kind of talk about what you have, what you want to accomplish, and how we can optimize this space. Okay. So this is what would happen here. Now, if I'm just walking around, there are landmarks within the metaverse, like the meta bar. We're not serving drinks here at the meta bar, but you never know.
Well, why? What do you mean?
I did realize that I can actually go
That's so
behind the
cool.
bar and turn around, and it looks like I am bartending. So
Like you're serving.
yeah. Yes. And, you know, by the way, you could take a selfie of yourself or have a friend take a selfie of you, right? A picture of you. You could go there behind the meta bar, turn around, and then have one of your friends take a screenshot of your avatar at the meta bar. How cool would that be, right? I
I love
think we should
it.
have
I love
photographers
it.
at the event to do that. But anyway, you could say, "Hey, meet me at the Meta Bar, or meet me, you know, by the crazy whatever lights this is, or you know, at the table in the corner, right?" So,
Oh, I lost your
you
sound.
uh-oh,
Oh, it could be me. Go
could
ahead.
be you.
It might be my earbuds.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay. Tell me if you guys can.
I don't think it's you.
Okay, I think if they could still hear me, then say, "Yeah, I could still hear you." Um, Okay, so then that, by the way, no, I don't want to join the main stage. By the way, if you hop into the metaverse as an attendee, right? Then you have access to all of this environment, and you can actually just talk to another attendee, right? Then and there, like in the metaverse. Um, here, are you?
Quick thing.
Yeah.
So I'm good. It was me.
Okay.
So sorry. I'm just having technical difficulties. Like Kita said, this looks pretty cool. Similar field to a role player game. Maybe my gamer son can help me create my version of this for my business.
Guess what?
So this
We can create
it is
it for
created for
you.
you already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we're trying to show you is that Wanda and her team actually you can rent the space from
Yes.
them and they take care of putting your event together as far as what it looks like inside of the
Yep.
metaverse. So
So you don't have to
if
deal with
you
any of the tech.
right, like you guys are basically the event manager in a way
Exactly. Yeah.
of inside of
Now we're
here. Yeah.
managing the venue, but what
Right.
we also are is yeah, we also are general contractors, right? So we have an exclusive relationship with with our developer. So we can develop offshoots of this. So like let's say you're like, okay, this is cool, but I have a vision of like wanting something on the beach or wanting something on a rooftop or whatever, right? We can
Oh.
actually create that. So there are 2 ways of doing that. If your audience is a Rocket Fuel audience, then they can come into the Rocket Fuel metaverse, right? If they're also ambitious entrepreneurs, they can come into
Mhm.
the metaverse and then we could create a portal from the Rocket Fuel metaverse into your environment. And the reason why is because that actually makes it a more affordable option for you to create
Mhm.
a portal off of our environment. Now, if you want to create an environment where it's like we're working on creating a patient advocacy environment, right? Like in healthcare, right? They're not Rocket Fuel audience members, so we're creating a separate environment totally for that. But
Mhm.
because we have the know-how, like we're there to help you expedite to be your Rocket Fuel, right? And to
Yeah.
expedite that process because there's no reason, I'm telling you, there's no reason for you to go through the process that I went through. I want you to focus on delivering your brilliance. Right?
Right.
Like
This takes time.
this
I mean,
takes
you were developing this for how long?
probably 6 months.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't want to take time out, you don't wanna have to deal with the technical calls, with the project management, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But if you want to, then we can work together, right? If you wanna go
Right.
super techie, I'm there, I'll be your guide so that you can do even better, right? And just, like, step on the shoulders of somebody else that has already done it, okay?
Yeah.
So, most definitely. Oh, I love the idea of a concert.
Concerts.
Yes. I've actually been speaking I have a performance background, and so I've been speaking to a couple of my performance buddies that are just amazing singers, and, I have been talking about concerts in the Rocket Fuel Metaverse.
That's so
So, I
awesome.
consider
Oh my
performers
gosh.
entrepreneurs, right? I performers are
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, and so I feel like, yeah, they are my people. Now, are their audience my people? That's the thing. So, I would wanna do concerts for entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
Um there. So, oh, I have somebody that said we already took selfies at the Meta Bar. Yes.
Joshua Caleb Buckley.
Joshua is a power user already. He was like,
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
he saw the potential of it and he's like super duper excited about it. And I'm very happy that he sees it. I just want to kind of walk you through what else is here. Like, so if somebody
Yeah.
comes in at like midnight and like no event is going on, they can still hop into areas like the interview studio, right? So actually here, the interview studio, every week or so, we actually change the interviews that are playing. Now playing, we have like a law of attraction video, a subconscious persuasion interview, and a finance and profits interview. I'm just going to walk through the walls because you can. And I'm going to show you here
That's
where,
so cool.
whoops, oh gosh, I just realized that you're seeing my view as a manager. But anyway, but here
Oh,
you can play, so you can see it's actually here, and you could look at the chapters. You could hop on over and watch Paul's video instead, and you can control that. So help me understand. Okay, so this is a different environment here where it's kind of on-demand content. And by the way, who recognizes the skyline out there?
where
Let
is
me know.
Oh,
Do you see her out there? Who's in the middle of the
I do see her. Yeah, we're
Yes,
in New York.
yes,
Of course we're in
New
New York.
York.
Hey, so someone just asked, how would this work for us in direct sales where we survive on sales and Facebook Lives?
Ooh, it depends on what you're selling. Can you tell me a little bit more about what you're selling? So
I think it would be actually really good for the corporate side of the direct sales companies when they have their conferences. This would be great for them.
absolutely, absolutely. Jewelry.
Now, if you're in direct sales and you have a team maybe, or maybe you're looking
Yeah.
to grow your team,
Well, this could be
maybe
an
that.
up-leveled, party. So let's say, we just
Yeah,
mentioned
okay,
jewelry, right?
jewelry,
So,
yeah,
you would
love
typically
it.
have your Facebook event and then, you might be running a live. It's gonna
Mhm.
it's gonna bump it up. Now, what you do have to realize or assess is the cost of investing in having an event here, right? And what your return is going to be. So that's something that we would kind of discuss. But obviously,
Mhm.
it costs money to host something, right? Whether it's in person and such. But I will say is that whatever product you're offering, if you think that you would get a good enough return to actually rent a space at the Marriott or whatever to host
Right.
it, then absolutely you're going to have a return here, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, with jewelry, you're not going to be able to have people try things on technically, right? But you
Right.
do have that excitement of like, oh my gosh, I just bought the Apollo set or whatever, and it's like, "Okay, I'm gonna get that too," or ideas that people might have or whatever. So, it does benefit you in the sense of the excitement of the other buyers, right? And communicating with each other and talking about what they want.
Yeah.
So, my vision there is like you have, uh, a main stage event, and then you have so that everybody can see you presenting the items, and then you have people break out of that into the conversation, and then you mingle
Yeah.
around and you talk to people about what they want and such. Maybe you have 3 conversation areas where one is like business jewelry, the other is like, social life, and or the other is
Right.
gifts for grandma or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this is just like off the top of my head, but the biggest thing is just to understand like what the return would be. Obviously, if
Mhm.
somebody's selling a high ticket item, then it's fantastic. Now, something that's also kind of interesting is in direct sales, you could potentially have an event with maybe somebody else where you can host, you can share the cost of the experience,
Yeah, like co-host,
co-host
like somebody that's,
a
maybe
complimentary.
clothing, and then you're the jewelry.
Exactly. So then you're creating an
Mhm.
experience, right?
Yeah,
So
totally.
that's something to consider. Just ideas off the top of my head. But for
Yeah.
entrepreneurs here, then we kind of come around to what we understand as the exhibit hall, which is the
Mhm.
marketplace here. And the reason why I called it the marketplace is when I first opened it as or built it as just a 3-day conference. That was my initial thought. I was like, "I'm gonna
Right.
just create a 3-day conference," and then I was like, "This is a lot of work. There's no freaking way. I want this to be a venue that is open for all," right? So then I changed it to the marketplace, but I also want entrepreneurs that are stepping into the metaverse to honestly get themselves and accept that buyer's mindset that we
Mhm.
we are here to tap into the expertise of others, right? So we can go
Yeah.
in and say, "Okay, I want to learn more about somebody that can help me find the right money at the right time," right? Or,
Mhm.
let me see. Oh, yes, master using Facebook Live, right? With high content.
Woo! We're in there.
Yes, right? So as you approach one of these booths, as you get closer, then it'll play a
You're
video. Look
here.
at that beautiful
Okay, so
face,
I
right?
wanna start
And
with,
then you
did
can
you know so
learn
fun.
more about this. It's literally we call it a 24/7 storefront, right? So if your service is serving entrepreneurs, you can have a storefront 24/7. And then we always encourage people to offer some sort of unique like metaverse offer so that
Mhm.
people understand that we're doing our best to try and negotiate for you and encourage you to connect with experts, right? So
Yeah.
that is I could walk you through the exhibit hall, but we're not going to do that. But I think it's important for folks to get the feeling of what's already here for them so they
Yeah.
take your excitement and say, yeah, I mean, literally, we could host something next week in the metaverse because it's already here, right? It only depends on how ready your presentations are, your offer is, etc. But if you've already been doing successful events, then you
Yeah.
you already have the content formula. It's just a matter of how to craft it and organize it so that you're optimizing metaverse features. And that's what I'm offering to folks. I actually put together a very quick
Yes.
guide. Oh, what is it? Makes sense. Summits, absolutely.
Yeah, so summits, affiliate marketing conference, 5-day challenges.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, because it takes effort, obviously, to to customize this for you, right? We're typically at this point recommending for the full customization that we're talking about, we recommend a minimum 4-hour event, right? In that 4-hour event, there would be typically my suggestion is 2 hours of content. So let's say you
Mhm.
have 1 hour education, you break out into the breakouts like I had mentioned, you go back, you have a 1 hour closing presentation with your offer, and then you open it up to conversation, right? And I actually
Right.
made this formula, this potential agenda is available. If you text metaverse to 1-909-741-1321, okay, whether you're in the US or outside of the US, you can actually do this. You can use WhatsApp if you're outside of the US. So text
Mhm.
metaverse to 1-909-741-1321, and then you will get not only this recommended agenda outline, but you'll also get a checklist of like, okay, what do I need to prepare to create
Yeah.
an event in the metaverse? And what I invite you to notice is that there's nothing technical in it. It's all about offer, content, figuring out what your structure is, figuring out what is it that you want to do? Do you want to replace an existing event? Do you want a new event? It's all of that stuff. But I put it all there for you so that you could look at it and say, yeah, I have most of this stuff. Let's rock and roll, right? The only limitation is our agenda, just like a physical space, right?
Right.
Like, oh, I want to do something. I want to do a Valentine's Day thing. We don't have anything scheduled on Valentine's, by the way, which would be an amazing. Ooh,
That would be a good
that would be a
day.
good day. All right, who's gonna take Valentine's Day? Right?
That would be a good
That
day.
is
What day of the week does that fall on?
Gosh, anybody? We're looking at our calendars right now.
Wednesday, so it's a week from
Wednesday,
tomorrow.
a week
Mhm.
from tomorrow. Who has a relationship workshop?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Or like a sex workshop or a serving entrepreneurs, but hey, we need, we need action too.
Yeah.
We need our rocket fuel. Um, but yeah, that would be so exciting. I would be so happy if somebody grabbed Valentine's Day because I don't have anything to offer for Valentine's Day, but what a fantastic day. But yeah, so text Metaverse to 1909-741-1321. Use WhatsApp if you're outside of the US. You're going to get this sample agenda, you're going to get a checklist, and you'll also get a link to book a call with me, right? 30 minutes, we talk, and then we could talk about what you've done before, what your ideas are, and I will lovingly rein you in, by the way. I'm going to say that because people are like, in a 5-day event during and it's like, all right, let's just do like one, dip your toe, let's make your debut, because I
Right.
don't want it to feel hard for you, right? If you make it too hard for yourself, you're going to think like, it's so hard to post something in the metaverse. No, it's just because you're being dramatic here, right? Um, we have all of this covered, and when you host the event, we will have people there managing the event, managing the stage, making sure you go live when you do, ushering people to the conversation areas or whatever that they need to do. We'll do loudspeaker like announcements to say, hey, everybody, move here, move there, right? To move people around. If they need technical help, we provide them with technical help. If we see somebody roaming around, they look, like they can't control their avatar. They look drunk in the, we come up to them and say, do you need help? So you don't have to worry about anything. And that was what was exciting to me, because Rocket Fuel and the podcast was about highlighting people that were Rocket Fuel and just creating that platform. And this is like an elevated platform that is
Right.
done for you, literally done for you. Believe me, if you want to go techie and you want to create your own whatever verse, like I'm there for you as well, because I got ideas, and maybe one of my ideas here is works for you, right? That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Just tell me about your business, because I have tons of ideas that I don't have services for, but I have
Right.
experiences that are in here, you know.
I love
I could go
so,
on
like,
forever.
you're no, you're a one-stop shop resource
Yep.
for this, honestly.
We are your
And just to drop a little
metaverse
side note.
concierge.
Right, exactly. And if you are, and if you're like, "Okay, but how do I market my event?" Over here.
Exactly. Exactly. And so, by the way,
Yeah.
Gina is one of our partners, right? If you are an agency that serves people that do virtual events and such, you could actually buy packages off of us. Okay. And we
Yeah.
have special offers, special deals for agencies. So for example, you could buy it from us, the experiences from us at a discount, and then you can offer it to your clients at the same price, but now you can package in your support, like the pre-event social and emails and the post-event social and email, all of that stuff, right? You could
Yep.
package the whole thing, but be a direct partner of the Rocket Fuel Metaverse. So we're always your go-to venue. Like, that that's already set, and you can deliver the results, right?
Yeah.
So that's exciting as well. So whether you are the expert that has the event and you're like ready to go and like up level, or you're an
Mhm.
agency that wants to bring innovative and up-leveled solutions. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, I know so and so, she's kicking butt, he's kicking butt, but this would just like kick him up 10 notches, right? Then let's book a call, because that's what the metaverse experience, the Rocket Fuel Metaverse experience, is about.
This is so exciting. So,
Yay. And
I saw a link.
we are like making history. Thank you for
I
saying
know,
it.
we are. We really are. In fact, you know what's so funny is I was actually talking to my kids about this, and when I was telling them and I actually showed, I think it was my daughter or my son one day, because when we were doing the grand opening of the metaverse, one of them was around and I was like, "Look inside of there." And they were like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool. You don't have to wear the Oculus?" I said, "No."
Mhm. Yes, yes.
It was so
So
funny.
my
Um,
7-year-old loves she it's like, literally, she'll be like, "Mommy, can I go into Rocket Fuel today?" Like, I don't know what she loves navigating, she loves going and seeing the booths, right, and seeing the video
yeah.
that pops up, and this is the I didn't know that you could walk through walls because I'm a crotchety, like, old person, right? That is like, "Oh, this is a wall. I need to walk around the wall," right? So she's like, right? And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you could walk through walls." So she made me think of, which I haven't been able to do yet, of, like, kind of planting little Easter eggs or little, like, doing, like, a scavenger
Oh,
hunt.
that like a scavenger
Yes,
hunt.
and hiding things. So literally, I'm like, "Girlfriend, you
That
are
is
you are
cool.
coming on payroll because just her playing around, and she has ideas. She gets ideas. And, so yeah, but you know that when your kids who have already been exposed to this space are like, "Whoa, this is cool," then you're delivering an up-leveled experience,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so imagine your prospects, right? The folks that you have been interacting with in a 2D world or 3D, maybe
Yeah.
only once a year, right? Because it's so expensive. You can literally
Mhm.
add like as part of your mastermind, you can add like
Yeah.
these quarterly summits or events, right? Where you actually get to connect with people on a deeper level. Why? Because when they connect with you on the deeper level, that's why they stay, right?
Yep.
Like, you can be brilliant, I'm not saying that you're not brilliant, but a major factor in somebody staying in A marketing, mastermind versus B marketing mastermind is the people
Connected.
and the connection to the people, that tribe, right? So
Mhm.
you could have 2 people that are offering equal brilliance in marketing,
The same
the
offer.
same offer, right? And you
Yeah.
up level your connection. You create deeper connections because you're in the metaverse. Your attrition rate, right, which is your loss, is going to go
Mhm.
down. You're going to
Yeah.
retain people more. And guess what? I'm getting nerdy here, but your customer lifetime value,
Value.
right? This is business, folks. Like, this isn't
I don't
just about it being like fun and like, "Yay, a new, like, shiny
Right.
thing." Like, I thought a lot about this. We invested a lot, and I say we, me, my husband and I, right? He supports my dreams and my visions very much, and I'm very thankful of that. But it was a big thing to be like, this is what's possible for entrepreneurs, but they're being
Mhm.
kept from it because the current view of the metaverse is that their clients or their prospects have to spend, $1,000 on an Oculus to do the
Right.
metaverse, and that they have to spend, 10, $20,000 to create a metaverse experience. Like, you don't have to do that. Right?
Yeah.
So, definitely gonna have to watch this
Oh,
replay. Watch the
so
replay,
good.
book time with me, and I
Yes.
will tell
So
you.
make sure to
Yeah.
text Metaverse
Yeah, actually,
to
we should put that in
909.
the, comments. I wonder how
Oh,
I could put that in the
in the
comments.
chat. I can put it in
Oh,
the
you
chat.
can, yes. Put in
Also.
the chat too, just in case people can't catch
Yeah.
the number flying by, right? But, um But text it. You're gonna be able to pre-plan already because 'cause you'll be able to see, okay, this is the agenda she suggested. These are the things that I should have in place. And,
Mhm.
and then let's have the conversation. And and my recommendation would be to work with whoever you do your marketing, your social with, et cetera, to make sure that you do everything possible to get the traffic there, right?
Right.
That's really important. You can have a beautiful
Mhm.
event and not have the traffic there. And that's why at the
Right.
moment I recommend for the folks that already know that that they have an offer that attracts, they have a presentation that converts, and then this could help you.
You have an audience
Yeah, you have an audience.
that they've already right,
Yeah, and of course, this could
already
help
done the
you with
business.
traffic because then the people that were like, "Ho-hum," about, they have the Zoom fatigue, which we all have,
Mhm.
um, are gonna be like, "Oh, this is an experience." That's why I like calling it an
Yeah,
experience versus another virtual event.
I love that, and honestly, that's why um, I'm loving it so much because I talk so much about creating an experience in your marketing,
Mhm.
and this just takes it to a whole other level,
Yeah,
whole other level.
yeah.
So,
And there's more to come because I know that once people use it, then,
yeah.
they'll have more ideas, and then I can go
Mhm.
back to the development company and say, to our partners and say, "Hey, all right, how about this idea?" That because they have such a long list of enhancements that they're working on literally daily. They're like, "Guess what? We just
Sure.
added this feature, this," right? But we can help them prioritize how to create this environment and this technology so it serves us as business
Right.
owners, right? I feel like this may be the first this is just came to me right now. This may be the first time where small business can actually kind of dominate something like this versus waiting for big business to do it and then for it to be cheap enough for us to do it. Okay?
Right.
That's usually what happens. That's the formula for technology, right? Because it takes so much to invest in it that usually you go right to the big guys as your clients, and the little guys
Yeah.
don't have access to it because it's too expensive. And then you're going to have access to it maybe like 5 years from now, right?
When something else new is gonna come out and be, like, the thing.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah.
it's yeah, what you're doing and what you're making available is just so amazing, and I'm so, so happy that we
Thank
got
you
to
for
do this
having
today.
me.
Absolutely, and guys, if you come back and you watch the replay, share any questions, comments. Wanda and I will definitely be keeping track, and we will respond to text that number. Text the word metaverse to it, please, 909-741-1321. And you're gonna come back. We're gonna have updates.
Oh yeah,
So
oh yeah, because people are gonna have ideas and questions and
totally,
and
totally.
such. And I appreciate it. This was Gina's idea, and I I'm very, very happy that you asked because there were so many things that I shared here that I haven't shared with anybody yet.
Oh
So
my
this
gosh,
is
I
just the
love it.
beginning.
Like
This is the
Lakita,
beginning.
yes, she sent the text. Awesome.
Yay! It's gonna ask you for your email address, so don't forget, because that's how you're gonna get it, right? So you're gonna, put in your email address, and then you're gonna get it immediately. If it didn't ask for your email address, by the way, that's because you must have texted a catchword somehow but somewhere before,
Oh,
and we keep
and
it
you're already on the list.
you're already in the system, and catchwords, by the way, is also my invention, so
Yes,
that's
it
for my
is.
platform. 13 years old. Catchwords is 13 years old. And it's still so new to so many people. That
I
was that
know.
was the one that was too early for me,
Yeah.
and I have the scars to prove it, but
But look at where
but
you are today. No, it's incredible. I'm so, so grateful to be connected with you, and for all of you that watch,
yes,
same, like, connect with Wanda. This is you're gonna make history. We're gonna make history. So we are making history. So
I'm
thank
excited
you
to support you.
again. Thank you so much. And look for me and my upcoming event in the metaverse too.
Yes, I know. I am so excited to work on
I
that.
know. I can't wait.
Awesome.
All
All right.
right, guys. I will see you on Thursday. I'll be back here 12 p.m. Eastern time for our, I think we're on episode 9 of our From Invisible to Visible series.
So
So
good.
I'll see you guys then.
So good.
Bye, guys.
Bye.